Now just let's just get into the TV series. I think like how much it has, how great it is actually. So who wants to go first? Yeah, Sudipta, take the lead.
Yeah, so the beauty of the TV series is that it does not try to be a carbon copy of the original Watchmen novel, unlike the film.
Yeah,
Here, David
right.
Lindelof does something unique. He sees the Watchmen, he takes inspiration from the Watchmen, he takes some of the characters, not all, some of the characters, and he tries to put them in settings that would seem like the closest logical extension of those characters. So
Right.
first he starts he tries to picture a world that has been affected by Watchmen, how it would be in the modern day, that is 2018, 2019. So
Right.
the one thing he keeps intact is that Vietnam is the 51st American state. He keeps that intact.
Right.
Yeah, and he starts off with something that I think none of us in this discussion knew about, a historical incident which none of us knew about. That is the Tulsa massacre.
Right.
exactly.
So
And-
would someone like to elaborate about the Tulsa massacre?
Yeah, so it was one of those historical incidents, a horrible act of racism that has basically been parried by the American government and Nixon for a long time, and no one really knew about it till basically Watchmen came out. So
Right.
the African American community knew, because it was kind of their this thing they couldn't talk about in even a large like I remember watching this thing with Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin, and he was saying that the moment he got like Kevin Smith asked him like, when did you realize that this TV series was for you? So he said within the first 30 seconds, when they first because you remember that one black sheriff was there, and he was the hero,
Yes.
and he was going after the Caucasians, like racist white people, like so they found it like it's a very crude or a very raw representation of racial justice, but it is supposed to be that way for that particular context.
It was 1921.
1991,
So
yeah. And aside from that, another thing is the Tulsa massacre, how they incorporated it into the story, and even the final act takes place in Tulsa, as far as I remember. Yeah.
Tulsa.
So can I say something about
Yeah,
this?
sure, please.
Please.
Because since we do not know much about Tulsa Race Massacre before Watchmen TV series came in, so when I started watching the series, what we were first introduced with is the scene of this massacre, right? So obviously,
Yes.
the impression of the audience who has no idea about this would see this as something fictional thing which might have happened somewhere, and somehow we are like okay, fine. Now this is the backdrop on which they are going to build the story upon. So then we
Yes.
cut to the present day. We see city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we already have been introduced that what kind of horrific thing has happened here. And after that, what they are showing is the characters, how they behave, and immediately you will find something not right, because it was supposed to be a alternate history, and this maybe some people hasn't seen the movie yet, but they have to get the clue that this is not the right world, because we are introduced with the main lead as a black family with white children who are in position of power and are very welcome in a white family, and they are having a dinner in a very like good way, and these things are like, wow, this is utopian but
Yeah.
this is supposed to be dystopian. So how are we going to live with that like made me like okay, now we are set up for something, and it still does not feel like Watchmen which I remember from the movies, but this is going to this give the interest in an audience who hasn't suppose read the book or seen the movies. So this is how the first impression I had. Okay, so I think this is this feeling you will also have, Ayushi, when while you start watching this, because they had set exactly they set the
Yeah,
tone in the
honestly, I would
first
also
episode
Yes,
only.
yeah.
So you can now
yeah.
elaborate on this, but I will
Yeah, and another
again.
thing, Shanda pointed out, like it's he's I really like that quote that it's utopian, but it's supposed to be dystopian. So
Exactly.
no, yeah, yeah, here it's like kind of like like a good thing in the guise, a bad thing in the guise of a good thing, kind of like that dichotomy, right? If you
Hmm.
remember one thing, another, I see, really sorry, spoiler. Okay, so
I see. You
yeah,
can
so
close your
yeah,
ears if you need to.
so they find the
No, it's
KKK,
okay. Just
yeah,
continue.
yeah, they find a KKK robe, right?
Right.
And yeah, so in the closet, so to speak. So when so if you
Skeleton in the
remember in the
closet.
comics, they also find not a robe in comedian's house, and he was basically
Yeah,
hiding
yeah, yeah.
the badges of honor and everything. So in the comics, it was something of a glory he was trying to hide, but here he's also trying to hide it, but it's a great deal of uh, like he'll be very,
Shame.
he's not ashamed, I won't say, because he was part of
It's
white
pride.
supremacist,
Yes, pride.
but he's trying
Hmm.
to hide basically skeletons in the closet. But whereas
Exactly.
comedian skeletons were of like distinctions and all that, he's is literally is the, let's say, like the epitome of racism, like white supremacy's highest order
Hmm.
is there. So that
Yep.
was a very interesting parallel that I found between the book and the that one TV series. So
Okay.
from that point, I thought, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. Lindelof used.
Yes, that is one thing.
One of my
Uh,
favorite one of my favorite moments in the entire show is like the
uh,
first episode. The kid is sitting and watching Bass Reeves in the theater, and the massacre is happening at
Yeah,
that time, right?
right.
and that the
So
ending.
the thing is, yeah, exactly. And the thing is, the kid is like he's so hyped up, right? This kid is growing up with the idea that we should trust in the law, but the very same law let them down.
Right.
Trust in the law, the kid says with the
Exactly.
smile on his face.
Do,
And outside there is this massacre that's happening. And the interesting thing is the guy he's inspired by is an actual American law enforcement officer, the first black deputy U.S. Marshal.
exactly, and showing that movie, it definitely felt like this is not a reality. It might not have
Yeah,
even
like
happened.
something's under the surface, right? You'll feel like
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
nothing
Uh,
nothing can be that like black and white or something
and
like.
this tone is also reflected in when they are showing the reality, like when these the families are introduced, the characters are introduced, and they carried on this feel as well, that see how like things are in this world, but something is not what it seems.
Yeah, and also one thing that in the TV series kind of like made me kind of ambivalent, like non-opinionated, yet being kind of opinionated, because when you remember when they go to Nixonville, the police, and
Hmm.
they
Yes.
basically massacre, like they pillage the place, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
And when they're doing so, polices are supposed to be the good guy, but they are behaving in a such a
Yeah,
deplorable manner. So
Hmm.
it's very uncomfortable.
exactly.
But also the people who are there, they're also like very bad people. They're like huge right-wing conservatives, and they don't like anyone other than white white
White
people.
people. They're bigots,
Yeah,
This put our
basically.
yeah,
audience in
yeah.
like
So do
dilemma,
we
that
support?
is
Do
it
we
okay. Exactly.
Yeah, do we cheer as these people who are bigots, by the way, are getting massacred by the police who are no good either? So whom do we choose in this scenario? It's up to the
Yeah,
audience. Like Lindelof
that's
is saying that.
no, but that's the
Mm,
interesting thing, right? The fact that he could create that sense of
mhm.
ambivalence. Nobody's right,
Wrong. Yeah,
nobody is wrong. There's a sense of gray in
exactly.
this entire conflict at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
And
So
they chose someone who whose way of thinking is only in black and white as a like icon. the Rorschach.
And she wears black and white.
Yep.
I was
I
talking.
mean, Eva.
Oh, Angela Ever, yes, definitely.
Uh,
Like she represents so many things. I was like looking at the things which are like how characters are based on. So it's like since she is the like lead, and she whatever is she has gone through and going to happen to her is
eventually.
like eventually, exactly. So the symbolism are all in that.
Yes.
I didn't have the time to
You know what's
put
the
all
biggest
those things
symbolism?
in one go.
All of us realized after the show had ended.
Hmm.
If you look at
That is
take
a
that,
foreshadowing.
so for
Yeah,
Ayushi, take that with a grain of salt, like something
because it
cool
is
is
a
about
huge
to happen.
spoiler.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah,
actually
you
the
just need
last.
to keep watching the
Yeah.
eggs. Yeah, just keep watching the eggs, okay? Till the
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
Just watch the
eggs,
eggs.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And also
we
that egg bit also had a reference to the original comics, like how it created when she pours the yolk onto that particular bowl, so it forms the
oh,
smiley
right,
Yeah,
face,
right,
right?
right.
Yeah, yeah,
smiley
and
bowl.
it goes back to that comedian spin, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
human being juice.
That's so creepy.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
uh,
I think
To make it.
we if we talk we particular events, it will all be spoilers for
yeah. I see.
IOC.
Yeah.
Okay, just one thing before like favorite episode. I'll go first. Yeah.
Okay,
So
fine.
I
Yeah.
don't remember the
The
episode.
flashback. The flashback. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember. Okay, fine. You go
yeah,
first.
yeah.
Flashback.
The
I was about
nostalgia,
to say
you
that.
mean?
Yeah, the flashback, like
Nostalgia.
the fact that they took that what is his name, the hood guy.
Eva.
Yeah, no, the hooded
Hooded
justice.
Justice.
Hooded
The
Justice,
character
right?
who had only two like two or three panels in the original
Yeah.
novel, and gave him so much depth and dealt with so many issues and police brutality, racism, people being in the closet, and then like eventually people going up against the authority and revolting, and so many other things, like how
This
do
was
I don't
an
know. I
incredible character writing.
I and
Like
also the
Yeah.
fact that in the comics Alan Moore
unbelievably
made
wrote.
him a Caucasian, and then he altogether he like Lindelof took that aspect of it,
Flipped
flipped it
it.
on its head actually, and then I mean just watch it. I see
Exactly, they
I'll
wove the
definitely
story
watch it.
in.
so good. My
They
God.
have taken the if you have to like recreate something from something great,
Yeah.
this is a standard how it should be done.
Yep.
No. So there is one thing Lindelof did better than Alan Moore,
Yeah, that is
Which
the
one?
yeah.
This one, right?
and that's writing better female
Yeah.
characters.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, that
That
character, Team
they
Blake
had
Nelson
to.
played. Yeah, the Looking Glass.
No, no. Looking
Damn
Glass.
good character.
Wow.
Damn
Okay,
good character.
the role was so well played.
Yeah.
Like even up until
He
the
was
last.
like
Oh,
Rorschach, but not as unlikable.
Well, exactly.
No, he was like a Rorschach, but not.
I'll
yeah,
clap for that. Good.
Rorschach's way of
Um,
thinking was fixed, and he was all along. He doubted everything which he.
Okay, here's a fun fact about Rorschach. Okay, so you know the Rorschach is basically a projective psychological test.
Yeah,
Right?
Rorschach
They
test,
use it
yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
in
Right,
therapy, right?
right.
So if you guys have read the graphic novel, right, there would have been the story about Rorschach's origin. So Rorschach would have been working at a dressmaker's shop, right? And he stumbles upon this fabric that Manhattan made. Something to do with I don't know, two fabrics coming together, like it's visible from both sides and whatnot.
Hmm.
The interesting thing is he would have been making it for a certain person. I don't know if you guys noted that. The person he was making it for was a person called Kitty Genovese. Okay,
Okay.
and there is an actual person called Kitty Genovese, and she's actually important. So the thing is, I'm doing my studies in psychology, right? So Kitty Genovese was she was a 28-year-old woman, right? She was actually stabbed outside her apartment, like in Queens, right? She was stabbed outside.
Okay.
The thing is, the textbooks, the social psychology textbooks, called it the Genovese syndrome, more commonly known as the bystander effect. No, the bystander effect is basically if there is an incident happening, if somebody's in a crisis, if you have more bystanders, the likelihood of someone coming to help you is less.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Rorschach is wearing a dress, but he's not a bystander.
Yeah, he's acting like on it. Like instead of staying neutral, he's
Yeah.
actually like going out there and basically like having his own actions. Yeah.
Exactly. He's like, I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit still. Like something has to be done. If you've noticed, he's actually, he doesn't care about his actions. I think there's a word for that. If I'm not mistaken, it's Alexei Thymic. Like people will go through stuff and are always in need of movement that they don't really that they don't really care about the consequences of what they're doing.
Hmm.
Like if you notice the way he goes about collecting information, he's violent. He's nuts. He's
Yeah,
unhinged. He's an absolute
and he's
maniac.
very intrusive as well. Like the way he barges into like Night Owl's apartment, right, and starts eating bean. Who does that?
Rorschach.
No, no. The worst part is who the hell like eats
Beans,
beans
and
and
that
all
too
things.
from a
And it's
can,
like,
unheated
bro,
beans.
like
Hmm.
Daniel's like, you know what? I'm used to this crap that you've been pulling. Is there any way you want me to heat
Yeah.
that for you? He's like,
No,
no, bro.
it's fine.
It's fine.
I'll
It's
just
just
eat
fine.
some cold beans. Yeah.
So
Uh,
one more thing I would like you to put a share light on is the use of mask all through the TV series, and how it is
Yeah.
also portrayed in the books. Because here the good guys are wearing mask, the bad guys are wearing mask, and there is the line
The
is
good guys are bad guys. The bad guys are good
exactly
guys.
no, there
Yep.
is no line now since everyone is wearing mask.
Yeah.
So this is wonderfully explored in the TV
Yeah.
series. So how
Yeah.
is it in the books as well?
In books,
Is
it's not as much as explored, or it's not so like
is it
conflicting.
only a
Or
TV thing? It's
I think
genius.
I think it's a TV. It is basically it originated the very inception of that concept comes from the book, but I
Because
think
I thought that this is also would be in the book because
yeah,
the book
No,
is
in the
breaking the
book it's
trope.
done differently. Yeah,
yeah,
in the book it's
Okay.
done
Yeah, it's a little
differently.
different.
Because in the book what happens is that when Hooded Justice and all the other guys they find their own league, it start they found the Minutemen. It
Minutemen,
starts
right.
from there. Then
Minutemen.
at first they were like this independent organization who just like policed crime on their own. Yeah, and then as it expanded, like there was a public outcry against them, and the government decided to start this act called Keene Act.
Cena,
Yeah, Keene Act. Yeah, so
Okay.
anyone who is familiar with Civil War from Marvel will know that this is the similar concept. The government
Yeah.
basically wanted superheroes to be registered. You either
yeah, or
register or you
disbanded.
retire.
Those who are opposing had to be disbanded, or
Yeah.
either you're with us or against us, like that. It's
Against us.
same as that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
The only person who signed up was comedian. I mean, as far as we know,
And Dr. Manhattan was also working
Dr.
for
Manhattan is. Yeah, he was working for the government, so they're like, yeah, bro, you're like automatically part of
Yeah.
us.
Okay.
yeah, and
But-
and Phil Spector was
Like-
with him, so she also became a part by
He
association.
gets
Yeah, because you remember in the I don't know, I don't distinctly remember whether this is in the comics or not. Whenever they first introduced like Manhattan to the American people, so
Mhm.
the news
Yeah.
anchor says God exists and he's
American.
He's American. So axiomatically they'll assume that yeah, this guy is on our side.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Before Manhattan realizes it, he's like said that no, bro, whatever you are on our side, like that.
So in respect of characters, if we see Dr. Manhattan, he is totally do not take sides,
True
something
neutral.
like that.
Yeah.
True neutral.
Mm.
And who will you call the exact opposite? Is it
Rorschach.
Rorschach or the
Rorschach.
Ozymandian?
Rorschach, yes.
Definitely Rorschach. Definitely.
So,
Because
fine.
and that is the most apparent during the ending when Manhattan kills Rorschach.
Okay, right. That's
because
the
he
exact
straight out says that bro, I'm not listening to you. You're a hypocrite.
No
you're a neutral.
compromise,
You're a coward.
even
no
in the face of
compromise.
Armageddon.
Yeah.
in the face
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Armageddon. Yeah.
So
No, but the interesting thing is, I read this analysis, right? If I'm not wrong, it was an interesting take that they did on Thug Notes. The real hero
You
of
put that as
Watchmen
well. Yeah,
is
amazing. Yeah, yeah.
Ozymandias.
okay, let's not get into it, but Thug Notes is amazing. Anyone who loves like reviews, book reviews and all that should watch Thug Notes.
Thug
Oh
Notes.
yeah,
Thug
yeah,
Notes
yeah,
is
yeah.
fantastic.
He's beautiful. The Thug Notes is beautiful.
Yeah.
So what Ishwar was saying?
So there was
yeah.
this interesting thing,
Hmm.
right? Is him actually giving this idea that the actual hero of Watchmen is not Rorschach. The actual hero of Watchmen is Ozymandias.
Even
Yep.
to some extent, even I think that as well. He's a maniac. He's a
I mean,
he has done horrible things, but
Hmm.
you kind of
the
get
intention
why he did.
the intention
Yeah.
behind the genocide was basically to bring about
Yeah.
world peace, right? And basically
Right.
save
He
them from
has
nuclear
to
armageddon.
save. He was obsessed with saving humanity and
Yeah.
at any cost.
Uniting humanity,
Hmm.
actually.
And
Yeah.
हाँ, ठीक
But
है, ठीक है.
Rorsch-
and
Right to come on.
and Rorschach is basically after truth. Like he wants objective truth. Like the world should know this
exactly
happened.
he has
and yeah, and his crusade is basically a crime has been committed and it has to be solved no matter
Yeah.
the cost. And when he realizes the cost is too big, he realizes that the powers that have orchestrated it are going to kill him off.
he actually
like, you know what?
represent the like superhero mentality, like the justice has to be served, something like
Yeah,
that.
it's basically
Yeah.
Alan Moore saying Golden Age was bad to people.
And
Like,
the,
yeah.
the
Like,
death of
superheroes
Rorschach
can't al-
is like
Yeah,
the
superheroes
death
can't
of
always be
Golden
right.
Age.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's not possible, right? Even realistically, even if you go on some kind of a crusade, you're definitely bound to
yeah.
get.
Some blood on your
I
hand.
don't
Yeah,
want to say
some
hurt,
black.
yeah, I mean, at some point in time, some impact is going to be there.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about Rorschach as a hero, actually Ozymandias would be a hero. Why? Because he's trying to save humanity. Like he said, millions will die, but at some point, if there are 7.4 million people on the planet, right? If I kill off 0.4 million people, I will be saving 7 billion people, and that's an accepted casualty.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. And he's still saving 7 billion people, which is not a small number.
Right.
Like it was either
It's true.
basically sacrificing these people, otherwise we all would perish.
And,
It was
he-
as simple as that.
And
Like,
all this
whether-
with he is doing with a god complex.
Yeah, huge
And,
god complex, not
Yes.
not
And
a god,
in
the
the TV
god
series-
complex. Yeah.
In the TV series, my favorite moment came when he had to play what he wanted, and now he
Yeah.
is like in his own cage. Like
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
Manhattan gave him that go ahead and play God as you wanted.
You do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Be
do
happy.
like you want to be a god, become one and see how much it sucks.
Exactly, because this is why IUC like you saw that Manhattan has built a own castle in Mars and
Yes,
living there, and in
This is the irony. No, Sayan, I just realized something. Manhattan and Ozymandias' story is basically Bruce Almighty.
Yeah, technically,
yeah,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
God
yeah.
saying that
A
okay, go
very
ahead.
like
Awesomely executed
yeah.
in the TV series.
yeah, very philosophical take on Bruce Almighty, like a very
Like,
dramatic.
Bruce Almighty.
In the books, Manhattan is going to Mars and live in a sandcastle.
Mm.
In the movies, also they have shown it there. Now, Ozymandias repents that I saved the world. I am the god. I should be living a life like that. And then when Manhattan gives him, okay, go ahead. And how that turned out, you have to like that was my fear when I realized what was happening. I was like blown. My mind was blown at how awesome it is
Yes.
executed and how it is shown that okay,
Yep.
fine. If you want to play God,
Let's
play
play
God,
God. Yeah.
literally.
And
So, what do you guys think of? Okay, you have to say anything. We can add. Then I'll.
yeah, just
Go
one
on.
small question. Like best act, because since we just need to touch briefly on this, it has been
Mhm.
nominated for 35 Emmys this year. So
29.
No,
No,
26.
No, actually, I
26.
was talking about the character Night Owl.
Okay,
he was,
Night
Oh
Owl.
yes.
he's kind of a bystander in the comics as well, and here they have completely
In the
chucked him out.
He is actually not
Yes.
bystander. I would say that he represents the
This
cape,
moral.
And also he's
hero, how
kind of
they
a-
are supposed to.
He just represents the middle ground. He represents maybe
Right.
a typical Silver Age or Bronze Age hero who's just trying to do the right thing.
You guys,
There are
are giving him too much credit. He's basically a wimpy Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, in the movie, I've seen the dress that Night Owl wears.
It's
It's
very
so similar to Batman.
the Madman's, yeah.
Yeah.
It
There is also a
represents.
character called
No,
Night
see,
Owl
there
in
is
DC.
In my research,
no. There's this character called this guy. Hold on, I'll tell you. Peacemaker is this guy. Night Owl is based on someone. I can't like place it right. There's
Midnighter.
this team on.
No,
No,
Midnighter
who?
came. No, Midnighter is
Not
Marvel, right?
Midnighter.
Yeah.
So Earth 4 has these heroes called the the Society of the Just, right? And they're all these Charlton comics.
okay.
Peacemaker is the comedian. Nightshade, the Question. Thunderbolt is the guy who Ozymandias is based
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Blue Beetle.
Oh, he was
Blue
the
Beetle.
original
Blue Beetle
Charlton
is
IP, right?
yeah. Charlton intellectual property was
Yes.
Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle
Night Owl
as
is
in
based
like
on Blue
that. Our Young Justice Blue.
Young Justice.
Okay.
Yeah. The guy who came before this Blue Beetle was another Blue Beetle. There have been 3 Blue
Okay.
Beetles. So that guy is based on Blue Beetle, and he's not like your typical hard nosed like I will go fight everybody and stuff. He's more like an inventor, a guy who uses his gadgets to do the right thing, sort of.
And in my
He's like
research, I also found that he's now at age 40, and he kind of feels embarrassed wearing this costume and going out.
Yeah.
So that's
That
interesting take
sequence was
in the thinking
yeah.
in that age. Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
this is from the book.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but that sequence is actually fascinating.
And
He's
and
sitting
another one
beside his suit.
suit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The suit, and at the same time, that sequence where he's with Laurie, right? He can't see her, and then they have to wear the suit. It gives them a sense of thrill and stuff like
Right.
that. See, that was the kind of stuff I expected more of from the movie, because you'll see a lot of it in terms of the comic book, but in the movie, I felt like it could have been slightly more fleshed out.
And another
So
thing,
Snyder
those who are,
actually like played it in a like some high dazzling bottle and served
Yeah.
it in
Yeah.
some cheap liquor.
liquor, yeah,
But
yeah.
actually it's
And another
like
thing,
awesome.
what bugged me about that movie of Snyder is actually they are shown to be retired heroes, right? So they'll be pretty
Yes.
much out of
Yeah.
practice.
Right.
So, but here when they're like rescuing those people from the fire or punching those goons in the alley, so
Alley.
they're almost like at superhuman
shit.
strength. Like I literally saw Silk Spectre punch a guy's bone out, right? Or in Night Owl.
Actually, that's not that hard if you think about it. If you get into the right angle,
Yeah.
never mind. I'm going into detail.
I don't go around punching people in the like elbows, right? How would I
Clearly,
know?
Ishwar has a lot of experience in punching.
Yeah,
people's bones.
he's
No,
basically
no,
like
it's the other way around.
Chennai's Tyler Durden. He goes around and fighting people.
He-
Yeah.
We don't
that
talk
was
about it here.
Yeah, we don't talk about it here. Sorry. Yeah.
those scenes in the movie, those were also like we didn't expect to see in a movie with the superhero. Like
Yeah.
they blow
Right.
punches, they kill the villains, but not much gore is shown. But this
Mhm.
one showed so vividly. So
Yeah.
that was also
Yeah,
a thing.
One
of
thing
get
which
wow.
I think is unfair to compare the movie and the series is that movie has a brief time span, and the series has a wider time span. Like maybe the movie could have been of like maybe first second part, then it would have been
It's funny
would
you
have
should
done a better
mention
job.
that because Jack Snyder released 2 extended cuts after
Cuts,
that.
yeah.
Extended cut and an ultimate cut. So
Yeah,
my
even an
only
ultimate
question.
cut.
yeah,
So,
it's like 3 hours or 3 hours.
So
What are the
basically this-
differences? Like what extra things they have shown in the cuts?
The
Like, did it
Black
improve
Friday
the
storyline is there.
experience?
No, the Black Friday storyline is there, and another kind
Okay.
of it was released. It's not part of any cut. I think it was released on YouTube. I just while doing the research, I got to know like they are having this kind of mockumentary / interviews of the Minutemen. Like the
Okay.
first
Right.
Spectre and how has their experience been fighting crime, so to speak. So
Okay.
and it kind of gives a little bit of character to the little bit of depth to the characters. But other than that,
Interesting.
it doesn't really like breaks any new ground. Like it's
Okay.
kind of like a filler episode. Like remember, this part felt kind of incoherent. Yeah, we did. We
Yeah.
filled that up like that. That's it.
Personally, I like do not like Snyder's this thing that they release multiple cuts after
That's yeah.
the
There should
film.
be.
There should be only one cut, no matter how
Yeah.
much it has.
No,
been-
that's the problem I think we all have, right? Like the whole theatrical cut will always be like a shorter version because they look to get more shows in because it's
Yeah.
less time. They'll then release like a gimmick, like, oh, this is the
Yeah,
ultimate
those are
Yeah,
like
director's
it's
cut.
building
basically
hype.
to goose the cells, right? To make
Fine,
a
Yeah.
these are like money making techniques.
money making
nothing-
plot. Yeah.
So even they have tried this on Justice League and all these things as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
So
the,
I didn't bother to see them.
Okay.
But if there are something like something very good to like value adding things, then I might look into it. But I don't like this personally. That
Yeah.
you are getting a slot, you have
Mm.
to like show the best thing you have to offer us.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
take.
and as
No, I feel bad because studios happen to have like a lot of creative control, right? So they're
yeah,
like, we want this, we want this, we want you to cut this, and we want you to reduce the time. They don't care if like aspects of a
yeah,
story
yeah.
get cut out, right?
They,
They just
they want
it
a
to
product
become a
basically.
lesson.
They want to sell toys.
Yeah,
They want to sell a
sell.
bunch of
Only
Dr. Manhattan
sales
toys,
and
which I
targets
would
are-
not advise giving your kid that Manhattan toy. Please don't give your kid Manhattan toys. Please. Okay.
Speaking of man
Yes,
toys.
Yeah.
So let's
Different
talk
topic.
about the Emmy Awards.
Yeah, my initial topic, my initial question was pertaining to Emmy Award, and then we went to a different altogether like tangential way we took.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, my question was a lot of great acting in the TV series. Who was
Mhm.
the best in the role that they played? It not doesn't need to be a lead. It could be a side character. It
My favorite was Ozymandias. Like,
mine was I love Jeremy Irons. He voiceover alone for Lion King, of all movies, is amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing. It's like groundbreaking, and he's so damn good in this role. Like Ozymandias, hands down. Matthew Good, all due respect, he was very good, but Jeremy Irons was on another level. He became Ozymandias.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't know the actor's name. I apologize. The person who played the young who did justice. Right.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
He was relatively new. No one knew who he was,
Hmm.
and we didn't have the idea till the third act of that episode, like what legacy awaits him.
Hmm.
But it was altogether a very like separate story. It felt kind of like it was very really good episode, and it was felt like a different chunk of someone has, as if someone has taken a part of the main story and kept it otherwise, like continuing it in a separate manner. Yeah,
So the actor's name is Jovan.
Jovan Adepo. He's a British actor, as far as I remember, right? Yeah.
Yeah. He came in Fences.
Offensive.
Now I remember
Yeah.
him.
So,
The
so
Denzel
yeah,
Washington.
but he is so good, and he portrays that character so beautifully. And mind you, there was not so much source material for him to explore, right? Because
Right.
Jeremy Irons, great actor, had great material and just knocked it out of the park. This guy didn't have
Yep.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything. He just went
Yeah.
in blind and he made it his own character
So
and killed it.
he was really
Absolutely.
good. Team Black Nelson, amazing. Looking glass.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I was
Oh.
introduced to Regina King's acting in Leftovers, and
Leftovers.
my God, like
Yeah.
she's so
She
good.
was good, no doubt about it. But she although she's the main character, but I would say the guy Yaha Abdul Martin. I
Right.
hope I'm-
Yeah, Abdul
Yes,
Mateen,
yes.
the second, right?
Yeah, the second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Abdul Martin the
Yeah,
second.
Abdul Mateen, the second.
Billy Crudup is very good as Dr. Manhattan, and like if I'm giving props to him, like he had a lot of say like things contraption around him when he was playing Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
He had spandex, and it's very hard to sell yourself as a like omnipotent being when you're dressed like that in a practical set. But he was very good, by the way. Like I thought he was
Right.
really good. Yahoo Martin brought another,
that
but since we saw him as Doctor Manhattan, he was always like this god. But we saw in flashbacks
Yeah.
like him having drink and going to dates and all that to the point till the point of his accident. And then he was basically a god, a aloof character who didn't care about the human people and all that.
Yes.
But here you see this kind of like groundedness and the
Humanity.
human side of Dr. Manhattan, like what he was, how he
Yeah.
was in personally, what was his relationship with his father, and how like how the world he has created were basically like results of the experiences he had as a child and as a grown up as well. Uh, and uh, uh, and the acting approach is weirdly is very similar. The way both Billy Crudup and Yaha speaks is very, the cadence is very similar. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah,
Similar,
and but Yaha is, I in my opinion he did it better. Not saying that Billy Crudup did bad. He did very good. Like it's 99, 98 like that.
Like there was more space for
Yeah,
him, I think, to kind of play out and build
in
up.
fairness, yeah, Yaha had more material, a better like creative guy to direct him. So yeah, so both of them are really good. Yaha was slightly better.
How about the Adam and
Oh,
Eve in
and another character will like it won't be a complete review without mentioning that Lube guy, right?
Loop guy.
Loop man.
Loop guy needs a separate
Thanks.
HBO series. I just want him
Yep.
to like there should be a show where he would just slither into different kind of like drains and canals and all that, and he just
You
pop
know who
up.
the loop guy is?
I'm not going to play him if you
Yeah,
that's
Beatty.
that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay, okay.
Sales Spectre's assistant.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
From
No,
FBI.
I said I thought you wanted someone to play Loop guy, and you are like pitching the character to me. And I'm already too fat, man. I can't just go slithering into a drain.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah,
You can try, though.
I, I should.
Honestly,
That's actually design.
I would make a better loop guy.
Yeah.
I
But,
see
but
it. I definitely see it. But there's actually one character you're all missing out that made the show complete.
oh, the
True, true.
who?
No, the squid.
The squid.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was like majestic.
yeah, the squid. The
The
squid.
majestic squid
you-
played
you
a
know,
awesome role.
You guys
And
remember?
it's-
You guys remember that scene in Toy Story where those three aliens are like going the claw, like
The
that?
claw.
Yeah, that is basically us, like the squid.
Which is a squid.
Yeah, we're all
I mean,
like what?
if you
what is it
like
called?
take a
Yeah.
random person and explain that I am watching a TV series which has giant squid raining from the sky.
He will probably slap you. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like if I think that this actually happened and I didn't like I was fascinated.
Yeah, like how they manufactured, right?
The squid thing, right? She gets an, I think Ozymandias gets an Indian artist to draw up some concept of a squid, and then he kind of cultivates it and crossbreeding and stuff, and then finally he lets out that psionic
Yeah,
alien way.
Well, and okay, and the final take about the show before we start Doomsday Clock, because I'll keep my mouth
Oh
shut
dear.
during that.
Oh dear, dear.
Yeah, I'll keep my mouth shut during that because I don't know anything about it. Last controversial take. What you didn't like about
Yeah.
the series? I'll just point out one thing. The whole reason that all of a sudden Ozymandias turned good for some reason and tried to stop his daughter from becoming Dr. Manhattan, basically. It kind of didn't make that much sense. Like it had it
The
been
whole
like
plot was a little left of field.
yeah,
like,
yeah, like
she came
Yeah,
out
you
of
know,
I
nowhere.
don't think it is that.
yeah,
Like
that
some
came out of
random cleaning.
yeah, like if I would have preferred if she had become Dr. Manhattan, and clearly Ozymandias will see afterwards that there are flaws in his daughter's ways and how she could be a potential danger, a potential nightmare to the entire world, and then he decides to stop her. That would have been more like fleshed out, so to speak. But all of a sudden, when she, and mind you, it's not like he was conspiring against her from the beginning. Yes, definitely he was manipulating her, but he actually wanted her to become Dr. Manhattan. He went to the thing as a like show of support and he was actual parenting thing he was doing. But all of a sudden, the moment
Yeah.
she started becoming the doctor, like the machine started and whatnot, they like he kind of turned. He kind of took a heel turn, like from heel to head turn in terms of wrestling. He all of a sudden he
No,
became a good guy.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he had the idea from the beginning. I mean, after
Yeah,
experiencing
that
Godhood
that
himself, he
yeah.
knew that his daughter was in over his head. In
Bro,
over
Yeah,
her
in our
head.
in our yeah, that could be a very
like
yeah.
bro, you're not. I wasn't fit for godhood. You want to
Yeah.
go and
How
become a
dare you
god
steal
now.
my
Right.
thunder?
Anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Exactly. So
yeah,
I agree with Sutikta here.
yeah. That
Hmm.
is, I think it was his idea the whole time. He could have like kept a straight
Exactly.
face. Yeah. And another thing was that I had kind of like a not the issue. I didn't understand it pretty well. The thing with the elephant. You guys remember? What was
Oh,
that about?
oh yeah. The thing is, one thing was the whole memory
Yeah.
thing. It's one of the. I think they were kind of harvesting neural material, if I'm not mistaken, because elephants happen to have like strong memory
Okay, that could be
capabilities.
a reason.
Yep.
Uh,
But honestly,
and
none of us expect. I was expecting some character revelation or anything, or like a big twist
right.
is coming, and all of a sudden,
No, so the whole character of Lady True is based on an actual historical character.
Exactly.
So
Of
she's
the same
actually a
name, I think,
Vietnamese.
right?
Yeah, she is. She is. She actually was a Vietnamese warrior. Apparently, in the 3rd century, she used to ride a white elephant.
then okay, explain
Okay.
the law after all. Of course, he will
Yeah,
do one thing with the elephant. Yeah,
yeah, and she's
yeah,
Vietnamese, right?
yeah.
So
Hey, that's kind of not cool to say. Just because she's Vietnamese doesn't mean she needs to be associated with elephants, right?
no, as in Lady True was a Vietnamese warrior who
Yeah,
rode a
but
white
that
elephant.
doesn't mean
Like
every
that's
other
how specific.
Vietnamese people ride elephants. No, that's kind of messed up, brother. Yeah.
Listen, listen. Nobody rides elephants. Actually, people do, but yeah.
Okay,
They
we
had
had
to show the
so
connection.
so
Why they have to make it obvious that
what
they
you
are
guys
Yep.
really
making
like
Lady
about the
True.
movie?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm just googling this, and I kind of
Mm,
remember. There, she's extracting spinal
mm,
fluid from the
mm,
elephants. She's using them as donors for the nostalgia drug.
mm.
Hmm.
Okay.
So basically, she's using elephant spinal fluid for the nostalgia drug so that she can mass produce it.
Okay. So
Wow.
that
Yep.
makes sense in a way.
Yeah.
But that is a really deep cut. Normal like idiot
Yeah.
like me would say, why is there a giant elephant in the room and why is like all the tubes are there and why she's getting I don't know.
Listen, I'll tell you what an even deeper
Mm,
cut is. You remember when there is this racist that the old hooded justice faces down in the beginning
yeah,
of the
yeah.
episode? That's Trump's grandfather.
What?
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 Yeah.
Like
Okay.
some
Holy.
some actor is playing Trump's grandfather. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's an actor playing Trump's grandfather, but the character FT or whatever is Fred Trump, his
Okay.
granddad.
Jesus Christ, that's why it only has one season. Now I know why it has only one season.
They are going to reconsider it maybe in the January. That
No,
if
yeah,
We'll see. I mean,
when Trump goes out of power, right?
maybe
hopefully,
maybe.
that is a
Yeah,
big if.
we all can pray, right?